Let's go! Phoenix is rising, and so are we, baby. Welcome in to the PHNX Rising podcast post-game show. We're back. Phoenix Rising, 1-0 victory over Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Back here, Phoenix Rising Stadium. It's fantastic. John Stenberg with a goal in the 71st minute completes a pretty dominant performance by Phoenix Rising. Bit of a change across the attack and really kind of switching up the formation led to pretty resounding victory, as much as a 1-0 victory can be. Vibes are up. We're feeling good. I'm, of course, Max Simpson. I'm joined by Mr. Owen Evans. How we doing, buddy?
Well, 3 points is 3 points.
We don't hate that.
3 points is 3 points. Yeah, I think it was one of those games that you come away and think, was it the prettiest of victories? No. Were they probably on top for most of that game? Absolutely. Yep. And did you come away with 3 points? Yes. What's there to complain about? I
mean, that's exactly it, right? There's definitely a couple different ways that we'll take this post-game show a bit, but right, the big headliners is a bit of a formation tactical wrinkle, switching it up, as well as with guys in the starting lineup. Phoenix Rising going to a back four formation, and then you have some guys who were kind of swapping out from within the starting lineup. You have Darius Vermella in, Panos Amarnakas out. Bit of a couple wrinkles there. I mean, man, we can start with both of those. Kind of when we kind of saw the lineup drop, we definitely were thinking, okay, changes we were calling for them. This is maybe not one we were expecting.
Right, and that's where you get into, I think, we can talk about the change in shape, and that's a big thing here, right? We weren't certain until closer to kickoff whether there was going to be a change in shape or not, or if you were going to see maybe the same kind of shape that we've seen in previous games. There was a difference. They came out in a 4-2-3-1 in this game. Okay, you had the back four, obviously your two holding midfielders. Fede Varela was kind of this roaming kind of number 10 in the middle there, and I think that as a role and that kind of formation is clearly having. It helped in some ways. It definitely did. Now, in terms of the changes and who was playing where and the decision maybe to start Fede Varela over Panos Amarnakas, that's something we can get into later on. But overall, I think the change in shape was helpful. I think one of the main things that it did is it just helped in terms of side-to-side movement.
Yep.
Right? We've seen that all season long. But the thing is that when Rising look to move side-to-side normally, you go from one side, you're looking who's in the middle. You've got kind of two options there. What you're going to do, you're going to have it go through the midfield, which is often quite slow.
Yep.
They're not the most aggressive of midfielders. Or you're probably going to have to rely on the fact that your number 9 is going to drift a little bit to try and help facilitate that. But that's not good then, because your number 9 is getting pulled out of position. Having that extra person in the middle definitely helped facilitate some of that movement. And so we saw a little bit more urgency. I think overall the urgency was perfectly fine tonight. I thought that this team definitely looked like a team that were on top and were pushing and trying to make things happen. It was a good overall.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up. We saw, especially based, I think it was less to do maybe with who was in or out of the starting lineup. I mean, yes, you're rolling with a lot of guys on the team who you would be accustomed to seeing in the starting 11, but I think really that formation change did allow to kind of overload within the midfield. And I think the whole thing is knowing how Colorado Springs play, they're going to be Rising's going to be facing a low block, and it really is trying to move that low block side to side. To your point, often Rising has kind of by necessity had to really say, hey, those in the midfield, you're going to have to find a pass, find that inch perfect through ball. It just hasn't been coming up. What I think was really definitive, not only was possibly due to the change in formation, but also we just saw very early on in the match that even when these balls weren't coming off, Rising made a very urgent point that they are going to feed the ball into feet, not into space necessarily, to Remy Cabral, and saying, hey, you're going to be able to lay it off, find our other number 10s, and be able to facilitate attack. And while we did see that come into play throughout the first half, it led to a lot of shots from outside the box, maybe not super threatening, but really based on his movement, his size, his positioning, and was holding up the ball well, was being that force. We were saying that if they're able to continue this into the second half, the goals will come.
Yeah, they will. Overall, though, one thing I'll take this as an interesting bit from speaking with John after the game, John Stenberg. He was saying they kind of knew in the first half that, obviously Colorado Springs sat back, were willing to sit back and kind of absorb a bit of that pressure. And they weren't necessarily doing enough with the possession. The Rising were allowed to possess the ball, but weren't necessarily doing enough with the possession they had.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting one. Just obviously they came out a little bit different in the second half, a little bit more energized as well. And it wasn't that we weren't energized in the first half, but just, I know obviously we got into some of the stuff with the shots, and a lot of them were from outside the penalty area in that first half in particular. Still little things to work on, but overall, could be a lot worse.
Could be a lot worse. And we're energized. Appreciate everyone in the chat.
Shout out. We got, we've lost the Erickson Gallardo fan club in Davenport, but we've got the Juan Carlos Azacar fan club.
Zoinks in the chat. Did Azacar play? Nope. Not seeing him in the starting 11. Again, we already noted some of those changes. Edward asking, how'd the game go? Who scored? Yeah, couldn't tell you. No, we totally can. Let's actually look at by the numbers, right? Kind of helping to further reinforce. This was just a dominant performance by Phoenix Rising overall. Again, 1-0.
Switchbacks with nothing.
1-0 for Phoenix Rising. Again, the XG 1.14 for Phoenix Rising, 0.08. XG for Colorado Springs Switchbacks. That is off of 53% possession for Phoenix Rising. So even though it seemed like they really did own that field tilt, which they did, especially in that final third, the possession, not overwhelming, but what is the shots. 22 shots.
It actually goes up slightly for Colorado Springs. Again, always those late flurry. Opta put it up to 4, but not much.
Currently right now, we have 22 shots for Phoenix Rising, 1 for Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and then 8 shots for Phoenix Rising on target, 1 for Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Of course,
there's the disallowed goal.
Yes, of course. And those numbers, of course, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, named number 1 in the state by Forbes. It's overwhelming numbers. I think this is one of those where I was talking to Statlacky, and this is one of those games where a 1-0 victory, you can see it in the numbers, you can see it in the eye test, and really kind of seeing the chances in the games for both teams, or I would even say lack thereof for Colorado Springs. A 1-0 victory seems pretty appropriate.
Yeah, look, the other thing about that, though, is as you look at this game, could Rising have possibly scored a couple more? Yeah, they could have. They could have.
Sure.
But at the same time, knowing this team and how they've struggled this season, could you also have seen a possibility whereby they were knocking on the door and knocking on the door and knocking on the door and ultimately couldn't come away with it? That's the worry, right? And again, this was a performance, I think, that was, again, improved in some ways. Again, I think that was Colorado Springs' worst effort of the season. I was chatting with Joe Lowry about that one. They've been low. They've been poor all season. I will credit that one to Joe Lowry, saying it was worst of the season. But
you're facing a team that scored 1 goal, and even again, you think that, hey, you know what? Shout out to Colorado Springs. They didn't let in 2 goals. It was just the 1 for them today.
Only 1.
Well done.
Hey, they're on the up. They've let in 2 goals in every other game.
Not this one.
Tonight.
They cut it in half.
Whoa.
In the right direction.
Big defensive effort. Shout out Colorado Springs.
Oh, man. Shout out Colorado Springs. Again, the real story.
They actually had the ball in the back of the net as well. Just, they were offside.
Offsides. Literally, this is the beauty of the emotions of the game. Shout out Reeves, man. It's just like we're in here getting set up and everything, and he's just looking. You're going through it. It's oh gosh, and like we were all like, are you kidding me? Especially when right beforehand that goal was disallowed. On the other end, Remy Cabral, nice steal, and he's going one-on-one with the keep. Man, if that touch is even a little bit inside towards the keeper rather than just taking it away from him, he gets a better angle. You're thinking he's going to finish that, but just poor touches. Could be 2-0 instead. 1-0, and my gosh, when that went in the back of the net for a second, our hearts drop. and you think, okay, 1-1, Phoenix Rising draw. Psych. That's not what happened because you know why? They scored 1-0. And who came through with that goal? Who came through with that,
Is that John Stenberg?
That is John Stenberg.
The captain.
Oh, captain, my captain.
John
With the
Stenberg.
salute. He is our man of the match. Who else could it possibly be with one goal?
Look at that expression
that
on
was
that
just
face.
Cold. And that's not even including just the salute. The dude was just mean mugging, mob, no, just zero emotion except everything going on
4 out of
inside.
4 in the air.
Boom.
75 out of 79 passes. Let's go.
You're talking about a guy
What a
with one
performance.
goal, was flawless in aerial duels. I mean, listen, we know he has the height. He's able to control that back line, but then the passing was great. Just an all-around performance by a guy who, I mean, this is what we've come to expect from him. The man doesn't turn in bad games, and being able to rise to this occasion in front of the home fans, back in front of the home fans.
Indeed.
Love to see it.
Indeed.
Man.
I will agree with John, though, here in the chat, saying that was a Switchbacks team that was set up not to get beaten. They did not come or play to score a goal.
Agreed.
Correct. I think until that last few minutes when they're chasing, and they're really, really chasing on that one.
Zach Andrews and that jawline.
Oh, yeah. But they didn't really come in to score goals. I think we can agree on that. And that's what low number of shots tells you, right? They didn't come in to do anything. It's what putting Ronaldo Damas on the bench tells you. I mean, that one shocked us. There
was a lot of guys where, like, you look at this and you're thinking, I mean, maybe they're just trying to stack both clubs are trying to stack the deck for the second half with all the star power that they can.
See,
and,
you're
and
saying that. You're
on.
saying that. We before the game was standing around going, "Is this a Wednesday game?"
Well, we were saying,
Like-
we were saying this seems like a Wednesday game, but you know what? Let's try to spin zone this. Maybe they're just waiting for the second half.
Yeah, maybe.
But you know, it's how the thing finishes 1-0. It's a good time. It's a good time. I think this just vaults the club. You know, yes, not rising up the table, but makes you feel good. I think it was just a very comprehensive performance and one that it might help take this team to new heights. You can take new heights with our friends at Arizona Lottery. Arizona Lottery, you can take new heights because, hey, man, that's what you can do with their new Arizona Adventure program, their Easy Adventure program. Super easy to do, right? You can play 3 iconic landscapes within the tickets that they have: the Picacho Peak, Camelback and Mountain, or Monument Valley. And you can literally take new heights by going to hike. You can get off your R's and go hike, right? 10 different locations throughout Arizona, Yuma, all the way to Prescott, everything in between. Right? Go in, check into their geolocated adventures, and boom, you get points. Being able to win up to $50,000 by doing that. They have grand prizes for up to $1 million in cash in Arizona.
That's a lot of money.
Prizes. That's
a lot of money.
It's a lot of money you can do with $1 million. But hey, again, don't take my word for it. Go out and go take some scratchers. Go and just have a good time. Explore
Max,
the
if you
state.
won $1 million, what player are you signing for Phoenix Rising?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
That'll be a question. Let me ruminate on that.
We
one
might
for a
put that
bit.
one out to Twitter maybe later.
I don't hate that one at all. Yeah, but you can win opportunity for up to $1 million with friends at Arizona Lottery. Again, go to azadventures.com for your chance to win. Terms and conditions do apply. Of course, you must be 20 years old or to play. And just a great time. Again, helping support Arizona conservation, all that stuff.
Can we shout out the chat right now? And
Yes,
the
of
wonderful
course.
Miss Emma Clark with "I'm so excited for my pretzel, Max."
We gotta find.
Pretzel time is the shout from the back of the room.
We gotta find pretzels. We gotta find pretzels. We gotta find pretzels. That's an expensive pretzel. I know they're not expensive pretzels. That's Circle K. Circle K don't have no expensive pretzels. They have the bomb diggity. You can buy your Arizona Lottery tickets, win that money, so you can buy certain pretzels. And you know you can get
You
all
get discounts on snacks, don't you? If you sign up for a certain
You know it, buddy.
program.
What's that program called?
I don't know. Is it? It's got something to do with the shape. I remember that much.
It does. I think it's like inside of a shape. Is it inside a? It's not inside a square.
And
It's not inside a triangle. Trapezoid.
circle?
Oh, Jesus. It's the inner circle.
okay,
Yes, of
yeah.
course it is. Circle K with their inner circle program. You can save money. Literally, Emma Clark and I, who was already chatting about pretzels, we stopped in a Circle K on the way here. Polar Pops in hand, rolling up to the Banditos tailgate, as we already know we're going to do. It's fantastic. A little iced tea mixture. You can get that. Pizza, soft drinks, everything like that. Free stuff just by downloading the Inner Circle program. Again, download the Circle K app. Opt into the Inner Circle program with just a phone number, and you literally get free stuff. Get gas discounts. It's fantastic. Again, terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Shout out Circle K.
There we go.
Boom. Oh, man.
All right, what do we want to talk about?
All right, we kind of talked about the overview of this game. There were a lot of different factors. Again, we talked about the line change. We talked about the guys who stood
Indeed.
up. John Stenberg was man of the match, key player. We highlighted Remy Cabral. Who else stood out to you for rising in a positive way with this match?
Do we want to talk about the Panos or Varela now or no? I mean, we saw both of them at varying times in the match.
I like that in a second. Just anyone else that comes to mind for you while we're on them. We got two big performers for Rising. Do we have a third? It's okay if we don't. It's okay if we don't have anyone who's stuck out.
I see the one comment there from Eva about Wyke was working his butt off tonight. I understand that. I'd also say, again, we saw a little bit of, and it wasn't just him. I know there was a little bit of things maybe crossing a line, a little bit competitiveness maybe early in the game, which I felt was a little bit silly. He was lucky to not come away with a yellow card at one point. Of course, Motriore did come away with a yellow card that was completely unnecessary.
I mean, that was a tough. Like, you go into this match with, I mean, shoot, down within 20 minutes, like, oh gosh, a couple key guys.
But was his performance overall perfectly fine? Of course it was.
Agreed. Yeah. Also, Pat our boy continues to shine back there. I really actually like the combo of him and Stenberg together. They just have a lot of good cover. Stenberg is the one. Stenberg is able to cover, don't get me wrong, but Stenberg seemed to be the one playing a bit higher, being able to play those passes, the towering headers.
Shout actually as well, though, on this. John Stenberg, we didn't do this number earlier, but 3 tackles, all 3 were 1.
Yep.
Also, Lawrence Wyke had the same numbers there. 3 tackles, all 3 were 1. I mean, overall, yeah, just I think a pretty solid performance.
Absolutely. Seeing Kyle, need
a little bit more in the attack, maybe, but again, it was all right. It was all right.
Seeing Kyle. Producer Kyle in the chat. Cabral looks good, but needs to finish. Also, Rising, it needs finishing. You know, I mean, that is a good segue to kind of the question you asked earlier, right? We saw that the game plan was very much to feed Remy Cabral. And you're thinking, okay, you got Remy Cabral and Darius Formella in the attack. That trifecta, the 3-headed monster that we were hoping to see. Panos Amanakas, right? No one could play a role. Didn't see him in the starting 11.
Nope.
Saw Fede Varela ahead. What do we make of that?
I find it a little bit odd. I understand the need for some rotation. To me, in that position, though, what you're looking at there, Panos being able to float in those different spaces, giving a bit more freedom, which you're given when you play in more of that number 10 role immediately behind, and you've got guys off on either side. That's him at his best. When you allow him to show his creativity, show his flair. And I felt that he did all right off the bench. I feel as though he is better in that role than what we have seen at this club from Fede Varela.
Agree.
So to me, in that kind of scenario, if you ask me who are you starting, 99 times out of 100, I'm starting Panos Amanakas. Obviously, I understand there are other factors that play into this, but I will say here that I'd go with Panos over Fede if it's straight up in that kind of role.
Yeah, no, definitely a fair shout there. I mean, right, seeing the chat has a lot of different opinions on different players and everything like that. Seeing Marlon Formella is not an outside player. I mean, we've seen that last season. It's definitely not his preferred role. He definitely is being tucked in there. Is very good. Yes.
Still could be worse. Could be.
Marlon also saying 10 out in reference to Fede. Yeah, I mean, everyone thinks there's a loading screen behind us. The little.
No, I thought, Max, you were just going to put the little, as was pointed out here by Zoinks, you're going to put the little K in there, right?
Ooh,
I'll
have to photo.
Producer
can Photoshop that in. Definitely behind the Mac.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No,
maybe.
Yeah, I guess I can't overpromise that. Right, but I think that was definitely like a point of, hey, Panos should be in there. The other thing that actually I think we noted. Not only in the change of the formation, but it's kind of thinking through who is going to be on the outside. We saw Gabby running with it very much in that position of, hey, we know we can do a shift, but again, we had been accustomed to Powerito starting in that position, playing a big role. Zoink's favorite, Juan Carlos Azakar. What do we make of Gabby over those choices?
it's fine. I understand it, right? We've seen what Gabby can contribute in an attacking sense.
Yep.
We saw that back when he first signed for this club at the end of 2022.
Absolutely.
In a mediocre side, well, a team that was playing in a very mediocre manner. And yet he comes in and starts scoring goals left, right, and center in the last 2 games
really
of the
crazy
season
how long he's
when
been in
there's
the club.
nothing left to play for, and he's playing as a wing back. But the guy kept pulling goals out of nowhere, and so we know what he can do.
Yeah.
I understand it. I think he is perfectly capable of being a starter on this team.
I agree.
And it's a balancing act, right? And we've known that since day one. There was always going to be some degree of a balancing act when it comes to those wingbacks and wide players, in the sense of you've got a lot of them. How are you going to find a way to make it work? Now, some of that almost overstocking has taken care of itself. Eddie Manjoma's gone over to Tampa Bay. He's having success there as well, by the way. So, I mean, again, another guy who had the quality to be doing this. But again, there's still quite a few guys there who can all do those kind of jobs. And over the course of the season, you're going to find, I think, a bit of chopping and changing, there. And look, to me, this is a difference between what I would say with Panos and Fede, whereby I feel that Panos is a clear, to me, someone who is that step above. I don't always quite see that same in the wingbacks. It varies up a bit. I was surprised to see Rito and Panos not involved there, given how integral they've been in the attack in previous weeks. But the wide players, I can see where there's maybe a little bit more scope for interchange.
I don't disagree. I mean, right. I think they do. It's not like they're all the same profile. They do offer a little bit different. Gabby, they actually did cut a bit more inside, had a couple shots in this match. Again, one of the many cluster that were outside the box. I think it's maybe less of that up and down vertical speed threat that Powerito offers as well.
You're really committed to this.
The chat loves the Powerito. Yes, as well as Juan Carlos Hazard again also has that shifty ability inside. So it's just another wrinkle. I agree. Breaking up that chemistry, so to speak, with Panos. Interesting to have them not both involved out there, especially for good chunk of the match. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting where they kind of shuffle through here. Have those rotations on your rotation, on anyone's rotation in the chat. I recommend our friends at OG's Brands. They have quite a lot to get into the rotation. Those, a lot of people talk about the dream rotation. A lot of different things to discuss. I recommend maybe a little creams, a little bit of the minis, of course. And dare I even say, if you want to go big, why not go bigger with the big OGs, right?
The big OGs.
Give me the big. Everyone wants the big creams. That's why you heard it here first. That's a real quote. That was just said. OGs can give you the big creams, can give you everything going on within the big OGs. It's fantastic. At the Pegs RSO, as Owen is just losing it over here. We're just talking about OGs here, guys. We're talking about the best scratch-made gummies in Arizona. They're just great stuff, man. We love our friends at OGs. Shout them out. Go check them out at Budsapalooza. It's going to be technically 6 days from now. Budsapalooza, OGs will be out there. Going to go to ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you and check them out on socials at OGs Brands. Must be 21 years old or older to enjoy responsibly.
Why do we give this man a microphone?
I mean, I kind of just started showing up and no one
Max,
picked me off.
get for the next one, mate. Come on.
Well, you know what the next one is.
Would it happen to be somewhere where, maybe Sunday, nice chill day tomorrow? You've had a celebration of winning today. Maybe you want to just enjoy a nice afternoon.
I have a
certain location.
Two
locations.
Two locations.
They got one in Gilbert and one in Queen Creek.
The place he's talking about is of course, Valley Taproom. Valley Taproom, those two locations in Gilbert and Queen Creek, where you can get a delicious ice cold Four Peaks beverage. You can get a little karaoke on, a little trivia on throughout the week. Valley Taproom. Where else do you need to go? That's a great place to do, victory shot, victory beer, whatever have you. 21 years old to drink, but it's nice because we've done PHNX Rising watch parties. Again, keep on the lookout. We want to plan a little PHNX Rising trivia based on here. One of these Friday games coming up. We'll get our people together.
We'll do it at some point.
We'll get our people together. But yes, check them out at Valley Taproom, at valleytaproom.com, and of course on socials at Valley Taproom. Okay.
All right. I'm going to dive it. This week, I guess the chat will go up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Max, this one from Davenant. Max, did you see the ad boards today? They
I
weren't
did.
working.
I did. They were all kind of over the place. I mean, honestly, that and the don't touch my face. Don't touch my face.
The little tear coming down
well,
there
yes,
as the
you can-
ad boards didn't work,
you can
man.
mi-
It was.
you can meme it without actually getting in my bubble. You know.
Oh.
Yes, no, the ad boards and the video boards were down for a little bit, but hey, they made it out. Okay.
All right, we need to change this up a little bit. All right, Pretzel Gang, get in here.
Yeah,
Pretzel Gang, if you want a pretzel, get in here. People come.
Oh, Emma is galloping through.
Emma, does he owe you a pretzel?
Yes.
What's I offered.
Also, hot dogs. Reese put in the
Max is buying hot dogs.
Max is buying. No, Max is not buying hot dogs. You were buying hot dogs.
Ooh.
No.
Because last time you gave Reese a 20 to go buy 6 hot dogs for the 3 of us. 6, might I add.
They didn't have any.
Sweet invite.
They didn't have any.
Sweet invite. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate
No,
that. No hot dog for me. That's cool.
But Max is buying them this time because, I tried. I made a reasonable attempt.
No, you didn't.
I did. I gave the lackey money to buy these.
No, that's fair.
Okay. I physically handed the money over.
The attempt was made. We were extremely disappointed, but
Wait. Marlon in the chat, Reese buying hot dogs, and I'm buying pretzels apparently. Okay. All right.
There we go.
We're diversifying the baked goods.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Well,
oh my God.
someone who I think can afford the pretzels and whatnot. He was going crazy over that OG's read. Why don't we bring him in here? It's Mr. Jake Tie Guy Anderson.
This man is so committed to the bit. He was chatting to Danny Stone about his tires after the press conference. I'm not even joking. You were, weren't you?
A customer came to me with a question about one of our services.
I'm ready with the no free ads. Just
No free ads here. But I would highly suggest tire certificates and discount tire. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
No free ads.
No free ads.
No free ads.
I don't disagree with you, but no free ads. Look at that. Everyone, Emma's saying, all right, we're good. All right, we're good. All right,
I'm
cool.
just answering the question that you're.
That's understand. Hey, listen, man. I ain't got nothing wrong with it. We're just all protocol here. They tell me that. You know how it is. All right.
Yeah.
So, Jake, we were kind of talking about the game, watching it there. What do you think was the difference? I asked the same question to Owen. Was it the formation change? Was it the personnel? Was it a bit of both? Was it intensity? What was it?
We, all 3 of us, spoke about this during the game, that we were shocked to see the fact that Fede would be the preferred 10 in a 4-2-3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer Panos in that spot 100 times out of 100. We'll never truly know because Panos came on and took the corner that ended up leading to the goal. So will we ever know? We spoke about how Fede wasn't bad tonight.
No.
It's just, and as Owen has already said during this podcast, Panos is just better. So I would prefer to see him in a position to where we talked about how much sideways movement they had. And as you've been saying during this podcast, it hasn't been space for Remy to run into. It's ball to his feet.
Yep.
So now we need a guy who can stop his momentum quickly, turn, play in a diagonal from a behind back post, ball, which I think Panos is perfect for. The formation change, I think, was also due to the fact that they're going to have to play a very similar opponent in Pittsburgh as well. So this is a formation I think that they bring out once again because we're going to see a very similar tactic, I think, that Colorado brought out tonight, which was just sit back and try to hit you on the counter, which they kind of had some success, right? Owen said they really didn't care about even trying to score a goal until the end of this game anyway, until they were forced to push up. But overall, I think this was just one of those games where you're playing a team that you're better than. The other team's not going to try to win. They're just going to try to survive and get 1 point. And you just got to go out there and find a way to win and get the 3 points. It's going to be ugly. And I think the same thing happens against Pittsburgh.
Okay. It's fair. I don't disagree with that.
No.
We were all saying, rephrase. We were talking, and it's like, hey, we think that the goal was going to come based on the chances. Yes, there were so many outside the box chances during this entire first half. But as it kept on continuing to knock down, going into the second half, you're thinking this team is going to get a goal should they keep on keeping it up. I think the issue and the question, I guess, becomes how does it go from this team on the cusp of threatening to actually getting a ball in, knowing that a lot of their shots, and this is still an issue, that it's outside the box. They haven't had that final third clinicalness. I'm not taking anything away from the goal, but even though the buildup was so much better, how did they get better inside the final third, being a bit more decisive?
This is going to be just a preference and stylistic thing. Like I don't love Formella on the wing.
Yeah.
All right. Don't love him out there. I don't think he stretches the play. Right. If you watch him, he gets the ball. He can turn and quick in the spot that he's in, but he's not going to take guys on, which is what you kind of want from your wingers in that 1v1 space, which is what brings them either to cut back in or take it down the line for a cutback, which then you get really good chances from around the penalty area, maybe the 6-yard box. That, I think, is something that you would want maybe Rito to be in there for, maybe Azucar's in there for. I thought that, I mean, obviously he wasn't able to play today, and he plays a little more central role, but he also has the ability to play on the outside. And then I also thought that Gabby Torres would have done maybe a little bit more tonight, because I think Gabby is that type of player, given the performances that we saw before he got hurt last year. So it's one of those things where obviously Danny sees these guys play every single day in training. He's going to make the decisions that he makes based on that.
Yep.
But just knowing the type of players that these guys are, I would like to see a little bit more 1v1. A guy like Gallardo. I'm not asking for Gallardo to start, but I would like to see a guy like Gallardo maybe play in those positions when you are having trouble unlocking a team that's especially sitting in a low block like Colorado was tonight.
Yeah, here's an interesting one we haven't picked up on yet, but obviously first few minutes of the season for Ale Fuenmayor.
Yes.
Right? Where does he slot in now into this team? Is he able to start given who's playing at the moment and how they're performing?
I know that this might be understandably very dependent on formation. Let me kind of phrase that and put it this way. Let Stenberg by all counts lock. Doesn't mean
he's a captain, yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, when healthy, obviously that's out of the question. If you're gonna drop him for one of the two other center backs, who goes?
Like,
it's an intriguing one.
In terms of, if I'm loving what Boyd gives you. Like it's just physicality and it's aggression.
He's got range, man.
It's youth. It's literally everything. And then you have, like, John's not old, but I'm pretty sure he's the oldest guy on the team, or at least the oldest outfield player on the team, right? He's your captain for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? He's got the experience.
Yeah.
And then you have your minutes leader from last year in Ale. Like, to me, it's those three. White was brought in to be depth.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't brought in until the end of the preseason anyway.
Yeah.
If they thought he was going to be a starter, they would have brought him in before any of the bigger signings that they made.
Yeah.
So I just think it's on the wall that those were the three. And if they even stay with three at the back.
100%.
And what we saw tonight, I mean, you could have Mo playing left or right back. I mean, we really have no idea with the formation, what they could do with the depth that they have.
Definitely. I mean, I'm seeing Brad the Chad, right? He's echoing, if we are going to go with the back three, Pat, my boy, John Stenberg, Alejandro Fuenmayor. It's going to be interesting, right? This is just yet another wrinkle from this team. So it'll be interesting to monitor moving forward.
I'll tell you what, we've got some agreement in the chat on one thing, though. Kyle in here saying put the forwards on a pretzel diet, to which Emma is agreeing. I mean, what do you think about that, Jake? Do you think that pretzels are required?
No.
If they're purchased by Max Simpson, do you think we need some pretzels?
If he's buying them for all of us, then yes.
There we go. We
heard.
have agreement.
I mean,
Max is buying pretzels.
I can't buy it for the whole team. That's a lot of pretzels. Also, I'm pretty sure that probably goes against the nutrition standards. I don't know how nutritious a pretzel is.
Real quick, I saw
I'm anti
a
big
box
pretzel.
of fruit snacks was at the bottom of the team picture of the 3 points they just posted. So if you're worried about their diets,
There we go.
they eat fruit snacks in the locker room.
There we go.
I'm just against big pretzel. Just tying us and just tying us over knots.
Max opposes big pretzel. There we go.
Oh man.
Worst take ever. Emma shouts in the back of the room.
Because I don't want big pretzel. I
make a
want
joke.
the nice
wanna make it off camera.
local farm raised pretzel, that pasture raised organic pretzel. That's what I want. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
So sorry, that's how I prefer my pretzels. Anyway, are we done with pretzel talk? Is there
We're done with pretzel talk.
no more pretzel talk?
You know what? Should we just have a quick look at scores?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's have a look at those scores from around USL Championship. Loudon 2, Memphis 1. Indy 2, Charleston 4. Rhode Island 0, Pittsburgh 0, San Antonio 0, Orange County 0. El Paso 2, Oakland 3. Monterey Bay 3, Vegas 1. Sacramento 1, FC Tulsa 1. Tulsa were down to 10 men for a lot of that game, weren't they?
Yes, 10 men Tulsa since the 16th minute.
Whew. And they get a draw away from home in Sacramento. There we go. Big.
Okay.
Big.
Okay.
Big. We got a comment in here. Shall we also talk about Spurs?
They sucked. Spuds today. 4-0. They're. I got nothing. I'm not going to say. There you go. That's all you'll get out of me. It's all okay.
Big.
Brett asking in the chat, does Max hate pretzels because there's not an official pretzel sponsor? No, that's not it.
Max, why don't we get an official pretzel sponsor?
That would
man?
very much help things. I will say that. I would be more opportune to talk about pretzels if I reel in.
I want to know who's going to become the official pretzel of PHNX.
Guess we'll find out. No free ads.
I know. I'm saying
free
who's
ads.
going to become it, Max?
I have some ideas.
He has some ideas. Let's go.
All right.
The ad man is ready.
That's what I do.
But Jake, thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Actually, Owen, there's actually a note from producer Eric. If you don't mind just stepping forward a little bit.
What?
Just show let the people see the circle. Just want to see. I thought I saw something on there. Move your head. Move out of the
Which way?
Move your head so that we can see the circle.
That way.
Eric, if you will. Oh, whoa, oh my gosh, the inner circle from Circle K. That's crazy. Just a little love for you there.
Line. I couldn't test it before I put it up there, so it's a little bit off. But
It's actually better. Keep it over, Owen. This is lovely. Just keep it on there. Appreciate everyone joining us here.
admin has reached new level.
Oh man, no,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
gonna push Max
You
out
can,
of the way.
you can take it down now, buddy. We appreciate you. All right, appreciate everyone here joining us on the podcast. It's always an off the rails show per usual, but thank you guys for being off the rails with us on this post game. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter in the meantime at PHNX _ rising, because double the underscore.
Double the pretzels when Max is buying.
This man is just uncreative, honestly. You can follow, and of course, we'll be back on Tuesday, 6 p.m. And of course, in the meantime, you can follow me on Max at Simpson on Twitter. You can follow Owen at OJ Evans 18 on Twitter. You can follow Jake on Twitter at JWA1984. You can follow Reese on Twitter at Reese11 _
What about Emma?
She even here?
She's gone now,
I
but
don't even know
like,
where
hey,
she-
she's around.
Where is she at?
It's, Emma Ann Clark.
I was gonna say Emma Ann Clark. You can follow producer Jacob on Twitter. Well, follow Eric Ruby on Twitter at Eric Ruby. That's a given because he's.
I could be
producing.
Jacob if you want me to be Jacob.
No. I always
You're
give
not Jacob, Eric.
Jacob says that I'm not telling people where to follow him on Twitter, and I absolutely take offense. I absolutely take offense to that. That is not true. You can follow Jacob on WhatsApp, and I will drop his number in the chat, or if you DM me. Just kidding, but I appreciate everyone.
You had to do the just kidding after you threatened to release his address last time, didn't you,
Oh,
Max?
because I just said, kind of legal disclaimer. Just
Legal
kidding.
disclaimer.
You can say that and just drop it. Just kidding, you're fine. But hey, it is a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when PHNX Rising get a 1-0 dub at home. Let's go. Have a good night.
We all silly like the mayor.